Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I have a message coming to you, which is something that I'm working out for myself right now in everything that I'm learning about and immersing myself in. And so I have a question for you guys out there today, which is whether you fear loss. And ultimately, I really want to dive into this on two different levels. So, oftentimes we have a fear of loss, which keeps us in unhealthy circumstances, relationships, dynamics, because we're so scared about what we might lose as a result of taking action and getting outside of that relationship. And secondly, we can oftentimes feel a grief that is associated with that feeling of loss when we lose somebody in our lives, or whether they pass on, or whether we lose that relationship, or whatever it is. So this fear of loss is what I really want to dive into with you guys. And it's something, like I said, that I'm currently just working through and seeing some different perspectives, doing a lot of research, doing a lot of investigation in from people who are really feeling like that they have different processes and modalities to helping support people to get through this feeling of loss. And it's given me a new kind of perspective that I'm kind of playing around with right now that I want to share with you guys. And ultimately that is, what if there is no such thing as loss, and ultimately that there is only transformation? And I'm going to dive into and unpack what exactly I mean by that. But really, it's got me thinking, and I did a bunch of writing this morning around this topic, and it got me thinking about, the fact that potentially it is, our pain and suffering gets created not from what we lose, but from our misguided perception that we lose without a gain. And this is priceless, I think. So if we can find that every time we have some perception of loss, there is a simultaneous gain that is absolutely playing out, and that everything is in balance, then if we could get to that belief, then we could take our narrow-sighted mind that is just purely focusing on all that's lost, all that's negative, and we could actually expand our minds with curiosity and looking at all different areas, all different perspectives and perceptions of what's actually going on in reality, and we could end our pain and suffering by realizing that there is no such thing as loss, and actually all there is transformation. And it's our job, and we have to do the work to discover how that thing we perceived as lost has actually transformed. And so let me unpack that a little bit for you guys. So you guys know right now, at the moment, I'm immersing myself in the work of Dr. John Demartini, because I just went to two back-to-back events of his up in Sydney. I spent 5 days going in depth with him, and I also got to interview him. So I've really been immersing myself in his perception, his way of thinking, his incredible wisdom. And so I'm playing around with different concepts and ideas that are particularly coming from his work right now. And so the Demartini Method is this process which is pretty much teaching what I'm talking about right now through a system. So we can look at our perception of loss. That's just one thing that this method can deal with. And what we do is we can identify, what is it that we feel like we are either going to lose by ending a relationship, and then potentially, we stay stuck in this unhealthy dynamic because we're so scared we're going to lose these certain things. I want you to, if you're in that state, I want you to identify what are those things you think you're going to lose. Get clear on what you think you're going to lose. Do you think you're going to lose love? Do you think you're going to lose connection, approval, fun? Whatever it is, I really want you to identify what are those things I fear I'm going to lose if I end this unhealthy dynamic. And on the flip side, if you are somebody who is in the grief of what you perceive as being loss, I want you to think about, what do you perceive you've currently lost that, is missing in your life right now because of this loss, whatever it is, in whatever form, of a relationship, of a person, whatever it is. So I want you to get clear, and I want you to actually identify your perception of what you could lose and your perception of what you have lost. Okay, and so this is not a quick process, so I definitely encourage you guys to do this work after this live video and replay this for any guidance, and definitely reach out if I can support and help you. That's what I want to do. But definitely identify what those things you're fearing loss around are. And then, we want to get you to balance out the equation. And ultimately what we want you to do is to expand your mindset, because currently you've got blinkers on. Currently you're not using your peripherals. Currently you're just seeing one-sidedness. You're seeing all bad without good. You're seeing all loss without gain. And it is creating your pain and your suffering. And so what we want to do is we want to get to a place of true empowerment. We want to feel empowered. We want to feel free. We don't want to delude ourselves and live in some positivity fantasy that there is no bad and all of this sort of stuff. But we want to be real. We want to be realists who are empowered to have the tools to move us forward through our own imprisonment of pain and suffering, through just seeing one side. No matter how well-intentioned we are as human beings, we can all get stuck like this. And it's part of human nature. And I am not denying at all for one moment the grieving process that is necessary for all of us. But when we limit ourselves through fear of loss, and we can't stand to get into that place of gratitude by seeing both sides, then we're doing ourselves and every single person who loves us an absolute disservice. And so, once we can identify what those perceived losses are, or either that we think we're going to lose or we feel that we already have lost, once we can identify what they are and we can expand our perspective, and you might need some guidance and help with this, particularly if it's been a state of being that you've been operating in for a long time. But ultimately, finding somebody in our lives who can help us find some different perspectives, somebody that, you connect with, that you respect, that you trust, that knows, that has your best interests at heart. And when you can, get some different perspectives, come up with them on your own, but also, like I said, get some guidance from external sources who you know, like, and trust and have your best interests at heart, we can start to see how that very thing that we felt we lost or we fear we will lose is actually surrounding us in different forms already. You are never without. And so, those things that we fear loss around transform into different dynamics, either from one or many people in our lives. So you might find that you fear that you will lose this person's love if you discontinue the relationship with them. Or you may fear or feel as though you lost this individual's love because they're no longer in your life. And so having that one-sided perspective as to what you've lost or what you stand to lose creates this pain and suffering and keeps you really small and limited. It de-energizes you, you get cloudy, you can't get clear on your perspective or a way forward, you feel lost. And, my heart is with you if you're going through that right now. But my mission is to ultimately empower you, because I see your beauty, I see your potential, and everybody who loves you can see that as well. And so sometimes the greatest gift that we can give to you is to not just support you and love you, but also challenge the greatness within you. And so that challenge comes from acknowledging where you're at and the truth behind what you feel, but then recognizing that there are a myriad of different perspectives and different things going on in your life that you've had your blinkers on for, and we need you to be able to see way outside your peripherals and all around and find where that thing you perceive you've lost or will stand to lose is currently around you or within you, and you can never actually be without it. So an example might be with that fearing the loss of love or feeling that you have lost love, where else in your life to the same degree are you actually gaining that same amount of love, albeit maybe not through that same source, but the very thing that you're missing is actually all around you. You know, maybe you have the love of your family, maybe you have a love of a group of friends, maybe you have this instilled love within yourself that's generated at higher levels because you left an unhealthy dynamic, that you were so fearful of losing that love, but maybe you've now, because you did something empowering for yourself, you've actually generated it within. You know, maybe you've lost somebody in your life and you feel like you lost their love, but maybe because of what's going on, other people in your life have stood up and they've shown you extra amounts of love and support for you. And, you know, that is why I would definitely, you know, that's just one example. But I saw so many different people definitely break through during this event. And I'm going to continue doing my work around this method and add it to all of the immense work that I do as well, because I know it's supportive to people. And I really do believe that our greatest resource is our ability to shift our perspective so that we can get to an empowered state and ultimately move forward. Because, you know, staying stuck in the fear of loss or one-sidedness where you can only see the negative and you're blocking all the positive, that is not a way to live our lives. And anybody who loves you wants you to see both sides, wants you to get to that centered empowerment. See the gratitude, honor your experience, don't pretend, but actually move forward with a realistic perspective that it is not all bad, you know, and that there is absolute goodness. And you are the person who has to shift and open and expand your awareness to be able to not continue to block the goodness and actually feel the balance and be grateful for what's going on in your life. And I realize that that can be hugely challenging and hugely difficult, and it can oftentimes be a long process of helping a person shift perspective and expand their mind in that direction. But I do believe that it is absolutely possible for every single person who is willing to go through whatever it takes to get to the other side. And like I said, it's not about being all positive and projecting some sort of fantasy and discounting our experience. It's actually just being real, and it's being able to find the whole balance that is in play. I really am starting to believe that there is no such thing as loss without a simultaneous gain, and we have to be the masters of our empowerment to be able to balance out any of our pain and suffering that is generated from this one-sidedness, this feeling of loss, when we're blocking the absolute truth that there is always a gain simultaneously. And we have to relinquish our control and need for it to be in this one form and recognize that it can be in many other forms, and that you haven't lost anything. It has just simply transformed into a different form, a different model, and it's your job to find it so that you can be an empowered, grateful, loving, inspired human being that you know and I know that you're capable of, and we're all capable of. So I really, really, really hope that me sharing this perspective with you guys out there is helpful. Like I said, I know it can be challenging. If you'd like extra support or guidance, I'd love to support you on that. I'm finding this really powerful, and I want every single one of us to feel empowered, live authentically, and have the courage to do so that we can truly feel like our lives matter, make a meaningful difference, at least in the lives of our loved ones, and ideally, you know, with a larger community as well. So I hope that this is all resonating with you guys. Please Drop me a comment, drop me any questions, say hi. I love connecting with you guys, as you know, and I'd be really interested to see what your perspective on this is as well. So I want to jump in and check in with you guys. Before I do, for any of you guys out there who haven't yet filled in this quick, short questionnaire for me, the link's up above. I really would love to know what's going on in your world and what you're currently challenged with, what you're struggling with, how I could best support you so that I can make sure that these messages that I am committed to showing up and delivering for you every single day in the hope that I can instill some sort of value, then I can make sure that they are addressing what you're going through as an individual, and that would greatly support me because I show up for the purposes of adding value. So if you can help let me know what value is to you, make it measurable, I would truly appreciate that. Makes my life much more fulfilling. And definitely, if you guys haven't already, please come on over and join us in the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. Oh my gosh, am I being blown away? You know, just yesterday we had a beautiful human being in that group reach out courageously in a dark moment of their lives. And it makes me emotional just to talk about this because the beauty of the people in that community who were absolutely there to support this other beautiful human being, to help him to see that he is loved and that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Honestly, that kind of beauty of humanity is what inspires me at the deepest level. So for all of you beautiful human beings who are already a part of that community, and you were a part of that conversation yesterday that's continuing on in the group today, I greatly, heartfeltly thank you for being there, and thank you for giving your heart to those who need that support. And it's just one of the beautiful things about that community that I most appreciate and adore. And I'd love any of you guys out there who aren't yet a part of that community to come on over there and join us. We're over 4,000 incredible like minds from across the globe, and it is truly inspiring. So thank you. And let me check in with you guys. I have got Jeremy and Caden and Stephen and Emisad and Sam, and good day to you, lovely Caden. It's awesome having you in the house. And Alexandria, awesome. And Eduardo. And yes, my spirit sister's in the house. I love it. And Jason's here, and Donald. It's been a while. Yeah, where have you been, Donald? I've missed seeing you pop up. And Ram's here, and Bobby, and Jaymond, and Natalie, and Hassani, and Jeremy, and Nalinda, and Alex, and Helen, and Sam. I feel the balance. For every action, there's equal and opposite reaction. Absolutely, Sam. I love that you have that perspective. And the more challenging, the situation that we're faced with, the more difficult it is for us to get to the other side. You know, when we feel like, we just missed out on some sort of good lunch, like it's pretty easy to just see the other side, right? Oh, but I got to do this. But when it gets to the point of losing a beautiful human being who you love in your life unexpectedly, it gets more and more challenging. But I am a big believer, and that's why I'm going into the work that I'm doing, is to really get to a place where I can help and support people just like that, because I believe that we can all get into balance and we can all get into empowerment, and I want nothing more than to be able to assist in that, and helping beautiful individuals break through to their next level and leave their fears and loss behind, that's limiting them. And so absolutely, Sam, thank you. And Mohammed's here, and Ivan, and Judy, and Tomakin, and Corey. And I don't know if it's Corey or Curry, but I so appreciate you being here. And Kaden, I totally agree. I feared loss, but have found tremendous value of the idea that ownership is 100% egoic concept. Yes. Boom. I love that. Similar to what you're saying. In reality, everything is moving, but never owned or lost. What are your thoughts on this train of thought? Kaden. I always love your questions and your perceptions. They're always enlivening to my soul. And definitely, this is a huge one that I'm still consistently navigating through myself, and one that I'm definitely educating myself on. because, you know, when we talk about the concept of ownership, you know, that is such a key one, because, you know, if we look at ownership, like you're saying, that's the ego. And same with loss. It's like coming from this perception of separation and one-sidedness, and it is old school. You know, anybody who is looking to empower themselves to get to a new level of their potential, not only in life, but in love, then there is no such thing as ownership, and there is no such thing as loss. There is only transformation. And this whole concept of ownership is what had generated a lot of fear for me in terms of getting into a new relationship, because I really do believe, like you guys have heard me say time and time again, that love is freedom. You know, love is, you know, just synchronistic, absolutely, with the term freedom. And in freedom, there is no sense of loss. There is no sense of ownership. There is just a desire for the truth of who you are authentically, to show up in whatever way that is, without expectation, without limitation, without judgment or condemnation. And so I definitely agree with you here in terms of, yeah, the getting away from that egoic mindset of ownership and definitely loss, which is that desire to see, or not even a desire, but it's a narrow-sightedness to see only one side, and fearing that loss makes us want to hold on so bad. And yes, absolutely. I think I could probably talk to you all day about that, Caden. And I know we're going to connect next week, so I can't wait to do that. And Calvin's here, and Jason, and Hassani. Getting ready to hear him speak in a couple of hours. Oh, this is so exciting. Can't wait to share what I learned. So excited, if you can't tell. Hassani, I'm super excited for you, because I know your mind is going to blow. You are going to get super expanded by the wisdom and the knowledge that this extraordinary human being imparts on all who his words touch. And so I can't wait to hear from you about that either. I hope you're going to share with us all. I'm sure you will. But definitely, you are moving in the right direction by expanding your mind with the incredible Dr. John Demartini. And his interview, I edited it all day yesterday, but I've been having trouble with the internet here. And I might have to head out and see if I can get a better connection. I'm right down here on the coast, and it struggles sometimes. But I'm super excited about getting this out to you. I just re-listened to it yesterday. My mind was blowing. All around diving into human evolution, around consciousness, around religion, cosmology. This stuff will absolutely blow your mind, and I can't wait to share it with you either today or maybe tomorrow. I'm going to make sure it happens. But definitely, Haas, I can't wait to hear from you. And Jodie's here, and Savula, and Stephen, and Sharat, and Graham. Awesome to have you guys. And Sam, I feel when we open up our mindset and tap more from our subconscious and unconscious, our perspective changes and all is balanced. You are on the money, Sam. I love what you bring. So absolutely, you know, and that's really the work I've been talking to you guys about over the last few days, is that if everything is in balance, it is our job to end our own suffering by finding the other side and not staying attached to a form that it must be in, and instead seeing it how it transforms into a myriad of different possibilities that could ultimately end our suffering and bring us back into reality. So it definitely does. And I'll just mention this because I think it's really interesting, and it's part of the interview that I have with Dr. John Demartini, so you'll hear him talk into this when you watch that, when I get it out to you guys. But ultimately, whenever we create a memory of the past and we have a perception of it being either good or bad or whatever, science has just proven that simultaneously, in the moment that we create this conscious memory and we can reflect back on it and we have this memory and we're like, oh yeah, this bad thing that happened, or this good thing that happened, or whatever it is, science has found that the brain actually simultaneously, in that precise moment that we create a conscious memory, it creates what we call an anti-memory in the subconscious, and it's the other side of the equation. So if you saw this memory as something all bad, what we need to do is be able to take you directly back to that moment in time when you created that memory, and we take you back to that, where you fully get into that moment and we find the other side that is there. It takes a lot of focus and energy, but we tap into the subconscious. We bring to the conscious that anti-memory, which is the other side of the equation, you know. So if this was all bad, we see the equal good that was available to us in that moment that balances out that perception. And when we interlock those and integrate those in that moment, we can get to a state of expansion and be grateful for whatever occurred. And that might sound like really like, whoa, like out there and woo-woo and whatever. This is Demartini's practice. He is a scientist, you know. He's got all the knowledge, wisdom to back all of this stuff up. And there's a process that I've personally gone through now and had this experience. And it is mind-blowing, literally, and so empowering. And it's exactly why I'm diving in and immersing myself in this process, and have set a goal for myself. This year I will become a Demartini Method facilitator, because it's super powerful. And I hope that you guys dive more into his work. I think, you know, I should be, I'm not getting commission for any of this, but I definitely, anything that I find super valuable, I can't wait to share with you guys. And I so love hearing you guys who are action takers. Hassani, you're going to Demartini tonight. I can't wait to hear from you. Sam, I know you've been checking out his work. I know Alexandria's been checking it out too. You guys rock my world, and I love it. And Jeremy, I know you've been starting to check out his work too. So I'm so grateful for you guys, that you're going to be getting value from that. And Tanapat and Grant and Sam. Limited perception and narrow mindset trapped me into believing about loss until I awakened to the universe, balancing out my life regardless. Sam, this is so awesome to hear. I know I've got so much more that I want to dive into with you and learn much more about your fascinating story and your growth journey. It's super inspiring. So thanks for sharing it here. And Ram, no loss, only transformation is definitely one of the most enlightening ways to change lives for the better. It's like what science teaches us. Energy always transforms from one form into another. Exactly, Ram. I love that this is resonating with you, and that you have this experience in your own life as well. That's super inspiring as well. And Kadek is here. And Jeremy, having a fear of loss creates enormous challenges to be vulnerable with people because of associated pain to the illusion of loss. Absolutely. And Jeremy, I love that you've put illusion of loss, because there is no such thing as true loss. It's just a transformation of forms. And if we want to be empowered individuals who are not being held back in fear, in our own sort of mind-made fears, then we have to get this stuff, and we have to do the work to break through. So, and find the other side that is always available to us. So absolutely, Jeremy, I love that. And Corey, I'm loving that you're finding this a great message. And Donald and Vince and Lettisma, thank you so much, and much good luck to you as well. And Lisa's here, and George, and another Lisa. And Jason, g'day sis, people are nuts about loss. Can't see the gain, proven psychology. 4,000 members in the group, boom. Yes, absolutely. And I love that you get this stuff as well. I know that I just kind of talked my head off to you back in Sydney the other day about all of this stuff that I'm super passionate about. And I love that you get this stuff as well. And yes, for over 4,000 amazing individuals in the Limitless Potential community. Thanks for being a part of it, brother. And George, you've got my support and my love, absolutely, and my challenge to do this work. And so Marco and Mary and Christopher and Hassani, yes, thank you. Can't wait to hear your interview too. Yeah, I can't wait to share it with you. And Kaden, Yes, loss cannot exist in love. Resonating as always. I absolutely love your words of insight and wisdom. They're definitely my favorite flavor, especially with that alluring accent of yours. Can't wait to connect. Always love, light, and freedom to you, and much, much love to you, Caden. And likewise, I think that our minds connect amazingly, and can't wait to connect with you next week. And thank you so much for those kind words. And I'm loving that my accent is not horrifying to you guys, and you can actually listen to it. So that's awesome. And Stefan's here, and Jolene, and Mike, and Tamim, and Lisa. That is what we do in hypnosis, and it's called age regression. Awesome, Lisa. So yeah, definitely, you know, there's a science backing this stuff, to go back to those past memories and to gather up that ability to tap into the subconscious anti-memory that is there, that is waiting for you to find the other side, so that you can relinquish the release of the control of the past and release it. So guys, I must sign off, but I'm super grateful for every single one of you who's been able to join me today and engage, and your intelligent questions and feedback and sharing your experiences always inspire me. So thank you so much. And as always, I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you, to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's absolutely beautiful and amazing. And I hope that today's message has in some way helped you move in the direction of empowerment, and you're going to think differently and expand your mind about all the things that you think you're going to lose or you think are negative, and you're going to see the other side and find it and challenge yourself to do so. So as always, guys, sending you all of my love, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow.